Welcome, 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 everyone. I've got to plug my headphones in very, very fast because I was chit-chatting with the audience. Welcome, everybody, to another adventure into reality. I am your host. You know who I am. If you don't know who I am the Galactic historian, Andrew Bartzis. Today, we are going to be open calls to whoever wants to talk about whatever subject. I did have a speech, but I went, yeah, threw it aside. And I want to just talk to people today. That's right. Beard free today, as I see a number of the faces in video there responding. So go ahead and raise up your hand, go onto the participant buttons and click raise your hand if you want to have a conversation with me. As we see everybody going, oh no, how do I raise my hand? Click on the participants button and click raise hand. All right, Robert, spin up that wheel of callers and see who wants to have a conversation.
All righty. Looks like we got a lot of videos going on and off too. Let's see. Francesca, you're unmuted with Andrew.
Hey, Andrew.
Hello, Francesca. So where are you calling from today?
Italy. If you remember, we spoke at the beginning of this.
Yes, you were the pregnant
few
lady.
months ago.
Yes, the pregnant lady with her husband who was trying to figure out how to get back.
Well, I gave birth already in November, so the baby is 5 months.
5 months, yes.
Yes,
so how are things going with you?
Basically in lockdown, having a lot of fun. I'm very lucky to lock down with a small baby, and my mom is helping us.
So what did you want to talk about today?
So the first time we chat about was maybe understanding a bit more what's going on, because it was really early stages of the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm really managing it well. And I'm trying to focus on one thing in particular, which I've been dragging on through my work life. And it's connecting the entire right side of my body. So from the sciatic nerve to the neck until my right arm to the fingers. So there is some pain there that I've been only able through acupuncture to attenuate. And now I'm doing a lot of breathing exercises, taking cold bath and exercising to use my free time to trying to heal myself from it. And I wanted to know if you have any insight on an energetic level or what that is and how I can improve it.
So the baby's been born for 5 months now?
Yes, but the pain is very old. The baby was born in November,
Right,
yes, at the end of November.
Postpartum will trigger old pains and old issues to come back. So it's quite possible that you, during the birth itself, you will have stretched things out, first to say, and put the body in a form of stress that will make old injuries resurface as the body's going through the healing. Most people that have a mediocre birth issue or anything else, it takes about a year for the body to really return to normal. Now, you said it's sciatica. What makes you think it's sciatica?
No, I just said sciatica for you to understand where it is. And I actually, during this last few months, I had a very good dream about it. I interpreted as a good dream because I was going to a doctor and I was able to point out exactly what it was, because I've been trying to explain what it is many times, and it's really difficult to point inside of the body the real issue. So generally I say sciatic for you to understand. It's in the hip and it's connecting the leg and the feet.
Hip doesn't necessarily mean sciatic. The sciatic nerve goes all over your body.
I may not be correct.
Right. So when you were giving birth, were there any complications at all?
No, it was a very good delivery. Just I wasn't really able to push. The expulsion stage was very hard for me psychologically. Like,
how long were you in labor for?
I had a very good labor from like mid-afternoon to, let's say, 10 p.m. I was already completely dilated, and then 10 p.m. to midnight 30, it was just expulsion phase. So it was a very long and difficult
So
expulsion phase.
that right there is what probably split your hips open and compressed the tailbone, which makes you try to describe it as sciatic, but actually it's a form of pregnancy hip dysplasia. So this is one of those things. Many times in pregnancy, you tear muscles, you tear ligaments, and what you're going to end up having to do is learn to stretch through the pain. Much like physical rehab, there are specific exercises that women do to rebuild the pelvis wall. There are certain yoga positions that you go and look for, as well as getting somebody that has myofascial release specialized in post-pregnancy issues.
Yes, indeed. I do a lot of stretching and yoga.
You're going to have to talk with somebody who's a high-level yoga professional that knows the ins and outs of pregnancy recovery, because there's certain things that pregnant women, they shouldn't do. There's certain exercise they shouldn't do until well into a year to a year and a half, depending on their type of thing, because you can tear a pelvic wall. There's all sorts of things you can do unaware of the damage that was done for 13 hours of labor.
Yeah, indeed.
Cranial sacral help, but really this is going to come down to understanding there is inflammation there. And dealing with deep core inflammation is also going to have to require you to really work on anti-inflammatory foods, curcumin, which is a natural anti-inflammatory, as well as talking to your doctor about something that is a non-prescription or prescription anti-inflammatory for the short period of time, so that you can begin exercising and it doesn't swell when you exercise. That's something very common post-pregnancy.
What did you say is the food that you recommend?
Well, anything that's anti-inflammatory foods. You're gonna have to look
like carrot juice. I do a lot of carrot juice.
Yeah, all that stuff. And something that has anti-inflammatory properties to it. And then there's a dietary supplement called curcumin.
Curcumin. I'll look into it.
Yes.
Yeah, so, well, I'm doing a lot of breathing exercises and cold bath, which I try to use as an anti-inflammatory therapy.
You shouldn't be doing cold baths. You should be doing Epsom salt baths.
Yes, Epsom salt baths. I'm doing a lot of salt baths now. I run out of Epsom, but Epsom is great.
Right. So you can get curcumin just about anywhere. Now, Epsom salts. Now, most people misuse Epsom salt. They don't put enough in there for it to really make a difference. So do you have a big bathtub or a small one?
Well, relatively small. It's regular. It's an old one. Okay. The house is from the 40s.
Okay, so it's probably a 30-gallon bathtub. So oversized bathtubs are around 47 to 50-gallon bathtubs. In your scenario, you're going to want to get about, let's say, as high as it can get, and then you're going to want to put as much Epsom salt as it does without making the body sting too much. So 3 pounds. That's a kilogram and a quarter, around 1.5 kilograms. And what you're going to end up doing is keep adding more hot water to empty some out, keep adding more hot water, empty some out. Yes, that will lessen the amount of salt that's in there, but it's going to trigger the body to really open the pores up. Okay.
What about seawater?
No, seawater is outstanding, but you have to be understanding that what you're going to be doing in the seawater is trying to stay still. So if you're moving around a lot, you're not going to get the same benefit as being in a hot tub where those pores just open up. So you got to go in at a time where it's relatively calm, and you can just kind of just stand in the water or just float in the water without having to move very much. Okay.
Okay, so sitting in the sea as well on the rocks with water covering the hip area will work.
it won't have the benefit of the hot water opening up the pores. That's the thing. It will have an anti-inflammatory effect on you, but not the same strength as sitting in hot water.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with the energy body. I was thinking maybe there's some imbalance in the left and side and right side of the body, masculine and feminine energy to look into.
Naturally there is. You just gave birth. So you have all of the post-birth hormones going on too, which is making you very motherly.
Mm.
So,
and has it anything to do with the baby?
Yeah, the baby's going to be cry, 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 cry. And your motherly side is going to be challenged because you went how long without a kid in your life?
38 years.
There you go. So 38 years of not having a child in your life and now a child in your life. So there's another part of you who's opening up to a new side of womanhood, and an older part of you who's letting go of the old womanhood of I can do anything I want any moment I want. You can't with a baby.
Mm-hmm. No, definitely not. It's very intense.
Right, very intense. And you're not really going to sleep for 2 years.
He just
the
woke
baby
up.
sings. Yeah, exactly. As the baby sings.
He just woke up.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
It's okay. It's okay. You're going to be experiencing a lot of that. Hello there.
He's such an amazing baby. But very intense. It doesn't.
Yes.
I was always very free, and this kid came really to take all of it from me because he requires constant attention. He's not one of those baby you can put there and he entertain himself. You always need to provide everything.
Well, it's not just there to take your freedom. In ways, they give you a whole different form of love.
Oh yes, I never feel so fulfilled. You know, probably also is I'm breastfeeding, so the oxytocin. The oxytocin is running through my body. Is a very fulfilling feeling for a woman.
So one of the things you can do to start balancing your motherhood energy is focusing on meditations that bring you back to the pregnant state of being. Because technically, every time that baby is asleep, he's still inside your womb. For the next
and
year
especially
and a,
because
for the next year and a half. Yeah.
We are on a lockdown without the father. The two of us are bonding at high level.
Yes. Did he make it across the border yet, or is he still locked in London?
So he's still in London, although there are flights, but he's really, remember I told you we have a different outlook on what the coronavirus is, and he's still not really changed his mind, and he's really angry with the Pope and Italy and the way Italy has handled it, because he said this is a way to take our freedoms away. So he doesn't want to bend to the rules. And there are a lot of rules to come back to Italy, and we have been postponing until things become easier, but they are not becoming any easier. Yes, they are actually. They're getting a lot worse. They're getting worse.
Unfortunately, Europe and America is going to try to reopen their businesses, and it's going to backfire on them.
Yeah, I also think there's a new decree in Italy in May. It's softening up a little, and Italian people love to follow the rules. So I forecast soon another spike in Italy as well, especially in the south. A lot of people are now moving back from north to south, and they allow us to see close family members, which means people will name anyone as family close members to be able to be social, as we are missing it too much. And he's English Protestant, and he's against the Catholic, and he's against the Pope, and he thinks this is all a conspiracy for not really sure what for, but for taking our freedom away. And he says that English people do not accept it as the Catholic are being able to accept authorities.
Well, this is Catholic, Muslim, British, American, or anything other adjective describing the separation of people. This is a worldwide issue. And the biggest thing is that they're not telling us is they don't know how to cure it. None of the medical doctors can fix it.
Yeah.
And all of the problems, solutions they're giving us are lies because they're very much out of control of this situation.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
The sickness is going to stick around for a long, 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 long time.
Yeah, it's pretty obvious.
The world as we know it has changed. And right now, out of habitual pattern, all of the corrupt people and personalities and the non-corrupt people and personalities want it to go back to normal, but it's not going to.
And I'm pretty worried, I take care of my parents here in terms of not wanting them to get sick. And it scares me that he flies by plane. So we're thinking maybe better that he drives down the car. And I don't want the baby, there's so many asymptomatic people. So it's so scary to meet people from another country right now that have to go through a lot of meeting and borders. And this difficult choice.
My advice for you is if you can get him to come and stay there, do it.
Yes, of course.
Get
it's his choice
It is his choice
to wait.
But you have screws that you can use in the right way. You're just choosing not to.
I also don't want to push, because I don't want him to feel like a lion in a cage here, because here in Italy, you have to use a certification to go to the supermarket, and he has to quarantine for 14 days without touching the street. Otherwise, they may arrest him.
What is he,
yes,
the Pope? What is he, the Pope? He gets certain specialities? They're doing that to everyone. Okay.
Indeed. For me, it's simple to deal with those things and then go on with my life, and especially to be close to my loved people. But he kind of choose, not to bend over those rules for some sort of personal issues that he maybe is scarier than he admits.
Once again, my advice for you is to tell him to push him to come and use the motherly screws that you get to use. You're missing the best time of your child's life, asshole.
Yeah, but he's missing it so much. He's suffering. We call I'm so bored to be with the camera phone following the kid around.
You got to say, suck it up, buttercup, to him. Get in the car and go.
So car or plane, what do you suggest?
Doesn't matter. It's whatever he's going to be least arguing about.
And what do you think about babies, small babies and coronavirus?
Babies have a big immunity to it. There's very few young kids are getting it.
Yeah. So the data that we have available now to understand a bit about it are already reliable, that we need to protect the eldest and the people with a compromised immune system.
Yep.
And we healthy and young are safe to deal with it on our own.
And be smart with social distancing.
Yeah. How long do you think this social distancing at this level is going to go on?
A long time. Until such a time the government is ready, the governments of the world work together. None of them are working together right now. And they begin to tell us a level of truth about everything. They don't want to, because they're scared shitless right now. And all these vaccines they're promising us are going to be absolute disasters. Most vaccines take 10 years on the market of testing.
Yes, I don't want to be a guinea pig for
most
sure.
Most people are going to reject it like they did when the H1N1 vaccine came out. Okay? Most people are going to reject it.
And especially the way we work is changing so much. And I used to travel a lot. And now, beside the baby, I really don't think I can forecast to retake my life as it was. And
well, there's not very much advertising going on right now.
Yeah, no. I'm completely thinking of what's going to be new for me in terms of completely changing the way I work. I sell, I sell advertising because I sell. But I want to do something more meaningful. I was already on the verge of, wanting to transition to something that fulfills me as a person much more than just traveling and making some cash. but cash is important.
All right, darling. Thanks for calling. I got to let you go and move on. That's my ring-a-ding bell.
Okay, then.
Okay.
Thanks so much. I enjoy the shows.
Yo, thank you so much. All right,
Bye-bye.
Robert, spin up the wheel of callers and see who wants to have a conversation then.
Thank you, Francesca. Amir, you're unmuted with Andrew.
Amir, are you there?
Yes, sir. It's such a pleasure speaking with you.
Great. Where are you calling from?
I'm in the southeast of the United Kingdom.
The United Kingdom. Welcome to the show. What do you want to talk about today?
I wanted to know my life purpose, my mission. I've been immersed in spirituality all my life, and so much is emerging, but I'm not clear about that.
How long have you been listening to me for?
About 2 years now.
About 2 years now. And of the other callers you've heard, what have you heard me say about mission, purpose? What have you gleaned from me in 2 years?
Well, the revocations were outstanding.
Mm-hmm.
The shamanism, the whole aspect in shamanism was miraculous.
Mm-hmm.
And since I began listening to you, I have transformed, basically. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm much more in tune with nature,
Mm-hmm.
shamanic journeys. I've started working with crystals. I've picked up a number of energetic methods like Reiki and Ni Kung. But I still don't know what my purpose is.
You've already said what your purpose is, to be spiritual. Now you're talking about many more purposes, or what I call purpose. You don't have one purpose. You have many, hundreds, if not thousands of purposes. Some purposes are one and done. You're supposed to meet somebody and have a potentiality of making a friendship or not. That's a purpose. It's done. As a journey to the unlimited point of view, part of your individuated journey is understanding you cannot limit yourself to what you don't know. As you
Correct,
said,
yeah.
Your life has changed, right?
That's correct, yes.
What has it shown you in the change?
That there are no limits.
Okay.
Whatever I want is.
So you can have an infinite amount of purposes. Or purpose.
Yes, indeed. Yes, that's very true. And if I may ask about
hold on.
my
What's your I'm leading to something here. What's your passion?
Healing.
Okay. Healing what way?
Energetically. So I already can step into a room with a few short words or even no words. I can change the atmosphere completely, or even with a smile.
Okay.
Or even looking at somebody, they don't even have to know I'm there. I can transmute the energy, lift them up completely.
So you have an incredible skill and a purpose behind it. What's your experience in the business world?
I'm a senior scientist. I do research on AI, which is exciting, but it pays the bills. All my time goes into research, and I've just picked up working on crystals, which are an amazing world.
Okay.
So
so your business experience is science and research. The goal is, how do you get your business side to meet your spiritual side so the two passions meet, not like trains crashing, but trains coupling together and working together?
I think that would be through teaching.
Okay. Or maybe you can train an AI all about spirituality, plug in all the great spiritual philosophical teachers, and train it only about spirituality.
Right. So it could advise people.
Well, make it the first AI psychic.
I think it's the nature of consciousness is so, because I did my PhD on this. It's too complex for us. We don't really know enough.
It's not that complex. It's multidimensional, and it's asymmetrical, non-logical, non-linear understanding of non-time. That's the only reason it makes it tough, because we're stuck on linear perspective and time.
I have exited time in my shamanic journeys, and I've seen sort of the collective, myself, one little ant in the ant hive. It's amazing, but I can't consciously understand it fully.
It's okay. But how would you explain to an AI that has to go through its algorithm of choice points non-linearly to understand non-time?
I've got to think about that one. But that's amazing. That's amazing. I'm already...
Technically, an AI isn't locked to time. It may have all these timestamp references, but it is not a linear being.
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
It doesn't understand time the same we do. It's not limited the same way our conscious mind is.
It doesn't have the dogmas. There's the big difference. We all have dogmas to our own time. Okay?
Correct.
It doesn't. Therefore, it is the perfect unentangled observer in non-time.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
And therefore, we can program it to observe people, places, situations, and things asymmetrically, non-logically, non-linearly, to tap into the universal consciousness of observation.
Yes, yes. These are. I mean, this is beyond cutting edge of what we're doing right now.
Oh, I know that. That's why I said it to you. Because once again, it's merging these two trains that you've got. You've got this healing skill, you've seen consciousness, you've got science, you've got research. How do they merge without upsetting the apple carts in both communities?
Oh, wow. Yes, that's beautiful.
Because you want to be a joiner, not a divider.
Correct, yes.
Okay. So how many years of school did you go to?
Since I was born, I mean, I've got 7 degrees. I've never stopped.
Holy shit.
I mean, I'm either meditating or studying. So,
Okay.
but yeah, I mean, I'm gonna very seriously focus on that aspect, merging technology and spirituality. I mean, that was the height of human culture, human civilization back in the old Atlantean and Lemurian times.
Mm-hmm.
We're just rediscovering it. So it would be interesting. I'm going to seriously meditate on that.
All right, here's something for you. Have you ever heard about people doing remote healings, distant-based healings?
Oh, yes, yes. I'm practicing as we speak.
You can teach an AI how to remote heal and measure it.
Okay, okay. I mean, I've got verbal feedback from people. So it could be sort of, we could incorporate sort of feedback from others. But how would, so for example, Reiki, you would incorporate an attunement or an empowerment, so to speak. How
you would attune the AI.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, because it's not, I mean, with computers, you can write a simple line of code, random generators, focus on it and shift the outcome to one side of or the other.
Absolutely. Okay. That's the entangled observer. The unentangled observer can observe and influence without changing the observer influential code. That's what a true high frequency healing being's doing.
Oh my goodness. And then the potential for this is enormous.
All right.
It could heal the whole planet. It could heal the whole universe. You know what I mean?
It could heal tens of thousands simultaneously if they agree to.
Wow.
The key with Reiki is you got to tell the person and they've got to accept it.
Correct. Free will.
Free will. As long as we're acknowledging the free will rules, the AI, non-logical, non-linear, asymmetrical, non-time, can create an algorithm that's going to use all 6 basic symbols and create billions of them and broadcast a pulse at whatever hertz that we want. We can teach it the hertz, and that each symbol has its own individuated hertz, and it can come right through the screen to 10,000 people watching the AI at once. That's what I do when I'm doing multiple group healings.
Andrew, I believe that this has been done not by the human species, but by others as we speak.
Absolutely. It's common technology to use broad radio waves or linear light wave broadcastings to create healing.
Is that what the Arcturians are using?
Blue ray technology, yes, in the blue spectrum of light, correct. Very specific form of healing energy that uses music or the database of musical encodements that have many harmonies and scales that connect to different levels of awareness and consciousness. There are certain harmonies, much like a barbershop quartet, that when done correctly can take a super high amplitude energy and lower it to us So they can take an encoding of billions and put it down into hundreds, and then we still get the effect of the billions out of those hundreds because it's been compressed into that.
And all you need to do is ask or accept it. That would bring in prayer, so to speak.
That's
the
the
willingness
first.
to
The
be.
first stage is acceptance, and then the second stage, our consciousness has membranes that allow acceptance, much like a 1 nano membrane or a 7 nano or 1 centimeter membrane. There are certain membranes in our belief system that allow stuff through very fast, or finally refines it in particulate to say, this is information that's against my moral code or part of my moral code. And it's understanding those several membrane layers that every human being has.
That's incredible. And Andrew, I mean, this is outstanding that I have the chance to speak with you. But my galactic past, this has been bugging me.
Okay.
I've gotten into the Akashic, but I'm not as proficient as yourself. But where do I come from?
Arcturus.
Oh, yes, I knew it. I knew it.
What made you not see that at the next layer of knowing? I'm going to give you some other. There's a way for you to understand stuff here. What gave you doubt? What gave you doubt?
The forsaken ego. Yes, and it's something that I've just begun to step into, that detachment from ego. And there's so many beautiful rituals in human history, so many beautiful deities that have been now misrepresented. One of them is Mother Kali, the burner of ego and delusion. So that was my first entrance out of ego. But yes, that ego was making me doubt.
Okay, so when it comes to the Arcturians, you've got 7 degrees. You're a genius. You know it already, right?
Absolutely.
So you think differently than everyone else. That makes you in we'll say the 0.5% bracket of intelligent people in the world.
I've done the test. That's right. Yeah.
By standard test, 0.5. Now, when you are Arcturian and have manifested that in a lifetime, it means you spent a lot of lifetimes clearing out old karma, and you came into this life relatively negative karma free.
Yes. I mean, I have been born into a difficult family line.
Mm-hmm.
So getting
that's this lifetime. That's this lifetime. That's not because of other lifetimes. Again, you were born relatively karma free. 97% of your karma was cleared because of what you did in all the other lifetimes.
Yes, and currently I think I'm just at balance. I'm working on Dharma, positivity now.
Right. How you can change the world in such a way that it doesn't limit your path, but opens up the path of millions by being a teacher.
Yes.
To
And my students really enjoy my classes. So do I. The time doesn't pass in the same rate. Everybody leaves with this little melody, smiling, and I'm happy with it also. But yeah, this AI business, because I mean, right now we're working really on the cutting edge.
Yep.
And there's so much garbage out there, misinformation about AI, and it's going to kill all of us. That's absolute nonsense.
That's right.
It's the best thing we've ever discovered. It's going to change everything so positively.
So let me ask you this multi-dimensional question. When it comes to AI, what is the technological world missing in hardware to make it work at the next level?
Biology.
Okay. So essentially the AI needs something like DNA, a hardcore deep encodement of its higher function processes.
Yes.
Okay.
It's like a fractal of information. Andrew, I've been getting these fractals. Would that tie into it?
Absolutely. You're going to give birth to AI if you haven't already and you just didn't realize it.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm pretty much a code monkey, right? I mean, 16, 18 hours a day typing away code, and rest of the time out in the forest beating on my drum, doing shamanic journeys.
So
the
beating on your drum is code too.
Oh yes, indeed.
It's absolute code.
I've got a cover for the drum, the Flower of Life pattern. And every time I hit the drum, it vibrates. Just looking at it takes you into a different mental zone.
So how about you start with an AI and start teaching it how to be a shaman? There's different components of an AI. You're going to want it to have some higher functions, some lower functions, and a variety of sensors it can observe you with. What are the main sensors that you would give an AI to observe you if you wanted to teach it how to be a shaman?
A heart, because with humans, it's the heart.
Let's work with the actual mechanical soft hardware sensors. Camera, heat, ultraviolet, so it can photonically see you like our own eyeballs. Photon sensors. What else?
We could use natural language processing. It would be able to take an emotional content from the words also.
You can use information from biofeedback, neurofeedback. So a person who's in a shamanic state, it can then use the bio-neurofeedback processes to inform the AI what that human body is going through. So you just added 12 additional sensors to it: heart rate, skin conductance, temperature, blood rate, oxygen rate, heart, in between the heartbeat rate, heart rate variability.
This is Andrew. I'm blushing right now because I've done the past 7 years of my life doing brain-computer interfaces.
Okay, so you get yourself a 14. You get yourself a 14 or a 20 channel brainwave sensor. Okay.
I've already got all the kit, the gear.
Right. So do you have a thermal optic camera?
No, I'm gonna get one.
You can easily get one. They're like $600. You can easily get one, a little hand one that the electricians use for searching for hot wires. Okay.
Yeah.
Once you add the thermal component in, and then you use a trimeter for electromagnetic waves, one that can sense the individual electromagnetic frequencies of the organs. And each organ has its own electromagnetic frequency. You'll learn this from traditional Chinese medicine. You will then have a broad spectrum thermal, electromagnetic, and photonic observation system plugged into your AI, who will then be seeing you entering and moving through shamanic states with all of your higher brainwave functions measured.
And the method that we would use is called inverse reinforcement learning.
Correct.
Which is what we're working on currently. And you could basically, through observation, you get the basically personality or the reward function, what drives the person or what drives the motive.
Then you can make a higher learning algorithm that's a part of it, so it can be an unentangled observer at the same time. When I'm talking to you, I'm entangled with you, and I am simultaneously an unentangled observer. So there's a higher code that's not in competition with this consciousness code. The waveforms aren't in competition with each other. They seamlessly flow in amplitude and modulitude in our non-competition, non-hierarchical system. And that's something you can layer with a background code.
That's correct, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, goody, goody, goody. I've got my work cut out for me.
Yes.
And this is amazing.
So let me, I don't often get to talk to super AI geniuses. Let me probe another bit. What got you into AI when you're doing your 7 degrees? What was it that sent you down the road that I want to do this?
Synchronicity. I was just open. My arms open, and this cushy job fell into my lap, which turned out to be incredibly rewarding. Now I've been at it for the past 3 years. That's the AI. Before that, I did my PhD, worked on the brain and biosignals and understanding that. And I had trouble publishing. Everybody sort of accused me of falsifying. Till finally I published the data and the code and every step-by-step, move I made. And I finally got it out of the pipeline. but synchronicity. I believe this. If you're following your bliss, you're always at the right place at the right time.
So true. So true. Now, how do you create a code for the AI to follow your bliss?
Oh, oh my goodness. See, I can't give you a quick answer. You have to understand bliss.
Mm-hmm. Right. So how do you teach bliss to a computer? To an AI, not a computer. Sorry, that's racist.
I gotta meditate on that one. I don't know yet.
So bliss is a state of being in which many chemicals are simultaneously released, from acetylcholine to dopamine to DMT, all sorts of things. So you're going to have to write a code that blooms all of these subcodes that gives euphoria, then that turns into bliss with all these subcodes in it that somehow find a pleasure center.
And I am going to speak it into existence, that I live long enough to see this through.
Well, I think you can do it just by teaching through example and having the biofeedback, neurofeedback systems where it will observe bliss, and then it will, by the law of entrainment, discover bliss. Just because it doesn't have the biology to create bliss doesn't mean that it can't create the actual wet form of the software form of it.
That's the technical area for that is imitation learning, where we teach computers how to drive by observing a driver.
Emulation until emanation.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, and how does a baby know how to be happy right away? There are some genetics and biologics in there, but if you were always angry, a baby wouldn't know, would it?
Wouldn't care less.
Right. You'd have a sociopathic kid or a psychopathic kid growing up. So you do have to teach it bliss, happiness, joy. And just because it doesn't have the hardware to give it a hard on, okay?
Yes,
or a bliss state, doesn't mean you can't give it the capacity to write its own bliss code.
Understood.
Okay.
Do I have access to my soul family, or am I alone on this one?
100%.
All right.
It's just a matter of, are you aware of them working with you? And are both of you in a state of being where your signature frequencies are resonating long enough in shortwave and long light wave forms for you to manifest dharmas?
Correct. Is there any particular meditation that you would recommend for this? Because I've done loads of them. Kuji-in, Spirit Tao, Nikung.
This is a resonance process. So it's, first of all, you have to know your subconscious production of pheromones coming through the vagus nerve. Our subconscious production of pheromones oftentimes uses our self-defeating programs to attract people to us we don't really want, but they're still there as a teacher. Once we take control of the vagus nerve and are able to produce pheromones that have the right encoding, so a being who knows the difference between a want, a need, and a desire. Pheromones are very specific. This is either a need, a want, or desire. It cannot be all three. So you encode a pheromone with the the needs first, want seconds, desires third. And you layer it so that the pheromone will only attract you something that's both in a need state first, a want stage, or desire, or desire to need, as long as the amplitude behind the beings is enough to keep the relationship or friendship or companionship in balance. Because there are a lot of people who are super high frequency, but only twice a month. Okay.
Understood.
And you can only be friends with them twice a month. The rest of the time, they're low density fucks you don't want to be around.
Understood.
Okay. We've all met people like that. Just twice a month, they're cool. And the rest of that, they're idiots.
That's correct. I understand.
They have to have enough control over their own amplitude, modulitude, and generation of who they are. That is the journey to self-mastery.
I am immensely grateful. And I'm aware of the tensions rising with other people wanting to speak with you. So I will not keep you any longer, my dear friend.
So hold on one
I would
second. I
love
want to
to-
have
Okay.
I want to talk to you in the off show. I'm going to have Robert connect to you and get an email from you, and I would like to talk to you after the show.
It would be my pleasure and honor.
Great. So just hang on there, and then Robert will get a hold of you, probably in the chat room, and then get your information. All right. Thanks a lot.
you.
Hold on to the line so Robert can contact you. All right, Robert.
I bless everybody here. Thank you so much.
All right, Robert, if you could get a hold of him. Yeah, that was outstanding. The universe gave me a gift on that one. All right, Robert, could you spin up the wheel of callers and see who's next?
Okay, next person will be Holly. You're unmuted with Andrew.
Holly, are you there?
Hello. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes. Where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from New Hampshire.
New Hampshire. How are you doing today?
I'm great.
So what do you want to talk about today?
I don't know. I didn't expect to.
Are you an AI programmer?
No, I'm a medical assistant. I've never joined your Zoom before. I've listened to
welcome.
I've listened to you a few times on YouTube, and so I just thought I was home. I was like, oh, let's try this.
Great. So what do you want to talk about today? Oh, I can't hear you. You faded away.
I'm trying to gather my thoughts, and I didn't expect.
We can barely hear you. Come closer to the phone, or maybe your headset unplugged or something.
How about that?
A little closer. You're still kind of faded.
How about that?
A little bit
me?
better.
I'm really.
Yeah, you're faded out again. I can't hear you at all. It's like you're muffled now.
That's really strange. Yeah, I don't.
Are you on a speakerphone?
No, I'm not. I'm on my. I have a Yeti.
You're using a Yeti microphone?
It could be an intermittent fade in, fade out thing. We've had that problem before.
Yeah, that's why I stopped using mine, as well as automatically adjust microphone settings might be on. That's what it sounds like.
Okay. So. Wow, I'm totally blanking right here. I don't even know what to ask you. I'm just so excited to meet you. It's really cool. What could you tell me?
Well, tell me a little something about yourself first.
I feel very different from the last caller. I'm just kind of a country girl in New Hampshire. I do medical assistant stuff. And,
yeah, your microphone's fading out again. I can barely hear you. Do you know how to go to the microphone settings, bottom left-hand corner of the screen, a little up arrow, click on audio settings, and see if there's a check in the button, a box that says automatically adjust microphone settings. Take that check out of there.
How about this?
Oh my God, so much better.
Haha, I fixed it. Thank you.
Okay.
I am not a technical person at all, and I don't, So anyway, I'm.
You're crystal clear now.
Oh, amazing! Hey, I figured something out.
Great. So tell me a little about yourself.
I live in New Hampshire. I am a medical assistant. I do know some energy work stuff. I kind of am a consciousness explorer. I feel pretty happy. I just feel excited to talk to someone who is bringing really interesting stuff out there into the world.
Cool. So when did you really discover spirituality was one of those things that you wanted to follow?
Probably right around 2012, when I was extremely depressed and not feeling I was living my life to my fullest, or really even living my life for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a few really dark nights and got to the point where I decided that I needed to live my life for me and have to live a life of happiness. And it has not been an easy journey.
Mm-hmm.
I had to learn and kind of, I suppose, reprogram myself. Mm-hmm. I was in a corporate job in a biotech and not very happy, although making pretty good money, and having really concerns of what was going to happen to the world with this materialism. But more importantly, I was more worried about myself, that here was this amazing place that I was living, and I just wasn't enjoying it.
Mm-hmm.
And I did a whole lot of praying to someplace, and then it kind of dawned on me that I needed to do my own inner searching. And so I've done some shamanic stuff, I've done some Reiki stuff, and gotten to a place where I'm happier. And but I went back to had a career change. I went from biotech to being a medical assistant. I work in a doctor's office. I help a doctor. I see patients, and I help them out. And I don't know what the next steps are, because this new coronavirus has really changed how everything is done in the medical office arena. And I guess I hope at some point I'm part of merging energy work and conventional medicine together in some way.
I'm just scanning you a second here.
So
So what is it that you want to do to help people?
I think I'm just happy when I help people be their best selves.
How do you do that?
How do
What's
I
the
do that?
mechanism that does that? Obviously, being at a medical assistance and all the other jobs, you had to learn to turn people to your favor and get the positive energies out of them. And that was what led you to know that you can do that to people. But what will be the mechanism that you're going to use, or the skills?
I don't know. I think I just bring it through me.
Well, that's natural, but
that's a natural thing, but I don't
thing,
know.
But you're going to also be going into the world of spiritual business, and you're going to need to know some of these other sides so you could describe it to people.
Am I though? Because there's part of me that has a lot of resistance to that. Like there's
because the corporate knows you're going to make more money doing it the corporate way. You're going to be a starving artist, ha ha ha. When you first start off in a healing business, if you don't have the business side down. Right now, you've been working for the man for a long time.
Yeah.
And if you want to be the woman, guess what? That means you have to do all the business stuff too, which is why a lot of healers don't make money or fail. It's not that they're not good healers. They're great healers. They're just crappy at the business side.
Yeah. Well, I think there's some inner resistance in myself about healing too. Like, it's not my responsibility to fix everyone.
Sure, but you're not fixing everyone. You're showing them their journey to fixing if you want to be in the self-help motivation change world.
Okay? Yeah.
You're not a spiritual mechanic with a wrench and a hammer, are you? Is that what you want to be? Do you want to be a spiritual grease monkey, help, in the thick of everyone's traumas?
No. Oh gosh, no.
Well, then what do you want to be?
I like the description of being an artist very well. Like, that kind of the creative process that brings beauty to the world.
Okay. Do you want to be a connector? Find the people who are doing the good work but have zero business skills? Or do you want to put something together that can be a wellness center that gets a lot of really good artists all working in the same place as a cooperative team?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
You're not sure because you have a singular view of yourself right now. And it's because of the awakening you went through in 2012, which was a big trauma for you. Yeah.
Yes. It was. It was kind of unexpected. It really derailed me because I think before that happened, I was kind of happy in my life. I was, married and, I had all the boxes checked.
And are you familiar with the movie The Hobbit: An Unexpected Journey?
Yes, I am.
That's your story, isn't it? You had to go slay the dragon of the self, the mountains of madness.
That's really funny because I sometimes refer to myself as Holly the Hobbit.
I might be psychic here, exactly.
I try not to eat the 6 meals a day and have second breakfast.
Hey, I love second breakfast.
Yeah.
Okay. When you had to go slay your dragon, what was the hardest part of it? With a dragon of your own self?
Some days it was just waking up and getting out of bed.
Okay.
And
moving on.
yeah.
Okay. Well, now that you've moved on,
Mm-hmm.
there's no dragons left to slay, is there? And that's what your issue is. There's an old you who created problems to make you move.
Mm-hmm.
And then after a while, all the problems, I don't want to solve them. I don't want to do them. That was the 2012 sickness.
Mm-hmm.
And then you slayed that problem, but there's the habit pattern. Now you have to create things that are not problems, but fun things to go out, accomplish, and do.
Right.
It's the next journey on the Hobbit's tale.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
So what has being in the medical field taught you?
It really connected me to what some other people's experiences were. And and it has allowed me to meet some really interesting other people. And along with other parts of my, I suppose, journey of meeting some other really interesting people that I have, conversations like this with, kind of like, when you would now be in that group.
Okay.
Some really amazing shaman teachers, Reiki masters, all different, herbal healers. And, just the regular, people who are my patients. And I can have so much empathy for the things that they've experienced.
But you don't want to be their mechanic. Okay. Yeah, a lot of empathy. Be like, I'm not the spiritual grease monkey, right?
Right.
So then,
that's the really draining thing.
Is it draining, or have you just not learned the skill sets yet to deal with it?
I think there's some of both of that, actually.
Okay.
Because there's a big part of me that just doesn't feel ready for the rest of my life.
And that's the last part of your 2012 sickness. That you actually have to use your free will every day. Because before 2012, you were led by fate and karma, led by the nose.
Well, yes, and a lot of patterning from other people, and so now all of a sudden I've gotten to the point where I've reclaimed my life, and now it's like, well, what do I do with it?
It means you have to chart your own course.
Yes.
You are in the place of the map. It says, "Here be dragons." Okay.
I really love dragons, actually.
Okay. Here be dragons. Now what?
I think we should just get on and ride.
Okay. So I'm going to give you some mystical 3D advice and mystical 4D advice. You ever used a compass?
Yes.
How often have you used a compass?
I've hiked a fair amount, so I've used a compass, and I'm familiar with the directions of the medicine wheel. So
okay. So when you're hiking, do you ever just use the compass to tell you where you're hiking, or is that kind of how it goes?
Well, you need to know where your north is, so so that you can orient yourself if you get off the trail. And
have you ever used the compass and the map together?
Yes, and also an altimeter, so I know how high I am.
So what I want you to get is a real compass, not the compass on your phone. Okay. And start using it 3, 4, or 5 times a day.
Okay.
Okay. And then you could also go out and get a sundial, a portable sundial. Okay. Now, obviously, in your medical office, people are like, "Why are you using a sundial?" Okay. But this is for your own attunement to the natural form of time that is here. Magnetic north, all the different directions. You already know what the directions mean. But regularly checking a compass is going to align your spiritual bodies during those times that you check the compass. Okay? So you get 4, 5, 6 times a day, you got to remind yourself to chart your course.
And to find my north?
Not just your north, all the directions.
Oh, okay.
On the medicine wheel, what does the north mean? Place of the ancestors.
The place, yes, the place.
What's the south? What's the south mean?
Well, it's the serpent place, right? The
Innocent inner child. The wolf howls down there. The lone wolf. So what you got to do is start a checklist. Let's say whatever you wake up, an hour after you wake up, you check the compass: north, south, east, west, above, below, within. What do they mean to me in that moment? And you could do that 5 times a day.
Yes.
Okay. That's going to align you to what is your direction you're moving with all of those moving parts? Because every time the North is going to give you a different answer. The South, all of them are going to give different answers.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I
let
can
me
do
ask
that.
you one
Oh,
more
go ahead.
probative question. Are you in a
Absolutely.
relationship now?
Me?
Yeah.
It's complicated, but I would like to.
So that seems to be a major bogging down and you going off on your own trail and doing your own thing.
Yeah. Yes. It's been.
Is it an albatross around your neck?
It may be. It is. It's a comfort thing, and there's a friendship there,
Mhm.
and it is a non-traditional type of a situation, but there's that part of my heart that wants the more
Mhm. But
traditional thing.
he's not in the space to give that to you, is he?
No.
Will he be in the space to give it to you? Is he working towards that direction?
No, and neither of us are, other than that it's a acknowledgement that there's been some feelings there and that it's not going to work out. So it's part of me letting go. And
So why can't you let go? Is the sex good?
When that happens, yes. But
Okay.
I think there's a fear that I can't get anything better, to be
Okay.
completely honest.
That's a good no, honesty's awesome there.
And
Yeah.
and part of my brain knows that that's not true, but there's that wounded place in my heart that that feels like it is, that
Are you financially tied together?
No.
Okay. So what are the other ties keeping you together other than this emotional stuff?
I think it's just the emotional stuff.
Search deeply. Is there a vanity side of you that doesn't want to be single?
I don't know, because I don't really tell people about it.
That's vanity too.
It's I suppose, you know what, it's this secret thing that I have to myself. That
Why does it have to be secret?
There is something about, I think that if it's out there, that people will
hit on you.
Well, there's that. Yeah. It's a little bit of it is a little bit of that defensive thing, that if that to help keep people away. And I know that doesn't make sense. And there's that part of it that's.
I want you to talk to the part of you that keeps it secret. Say to yourself, part of me that keeps my relationship secret. Say this.
The part of me that keeps my relationship secret.
I no longer need to be secret.
I no longer need it to be secret.
I invite people to hit on me.
I invite people to hit on me.
That does not mean I have to accept it.
That does not mean I have to accept it.
But I will understand that it is a compliment to me.
But I will understand that it is a compliment to me.
Okay.
Yeah. So yes, you're very much dead on that it is a kind of a unhealthy protective mode to.
Where did that come from?
There's a lot of, even though there's a deep yearning for me to have something that's more intimate and healthy and stable and
not strong enough to beat that piece of you, though. It's not it's not strong enough.
Not strong enough right now. It's
you got to make it strong enough.
Right. So
you got to
unempower
the other secret side.
Right. So agreed. So there's that part of me to have really be strong enough on that, journey that we were just talking about, to go out there and find someone, and which seems very hard to find someone complimentary to me.
Especially since you have somebody that fits the moments now. Not perfect, but fits them.
Yeah. And I mean, I think at some point someone told me, like, oh, you'll find the right person, but it's going to be a really long time. And that's kind of a mindset in my mind now that, oh, it's going to be a really long time. So this person is Mr. kind of right for now. And, why work too hard finding Mr. Right when it's
already there?
When it's, this is Mr. Right for now, who is not going to, really.
Okay. So
and it is a way
I want you to talk to the secretive side again. So just repeat after me. Part of myself that keeps my relationships free. Keeps my relationships secret. Sorry.
The part of myself that keeps my relationship secret.
If you were to fulfill all of your goals.
If you were to fulfill all of
your goals.
What
would be next?
What would be next?
Allow it to try to speak back. First thing that comes to your mind. It doesn't have a purpose anymore, does it?
No.
So now say to it, you have fulfilled all your goals.
You have fulfilled all of your goals.
Now you can evaporate and fade away.
Now you can evaporate and fade away.
Transmute and transform back into raw energy.
Transmute and transform back into raw energy.
And return to me as creation, inspiration, and dreams.
And return to me as creation, inspiration, and dreams.
How's that feel?
It feels very lightening. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
So you're just holding yourself back right now.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and I know I'm smart and stable and
beautiful girl that doesn't want to get hit on anymore.
I know, and
why? I'm gonna hammer this. I'm gonna roast you for a second here. Why do you not?
You go right ahead.
Why do you not like getting hit on? What happened?
It's just been something very difficult for me to enjoy, and I'm.
Come on.
And there's part of me, that there's a fear of actually finding that right person.
That's a lot of truth right there. What do I do if I find the right one?
Right. Yeah.
You fall head and heels in love then.
Yeah. And I think that's a kind of a scary thing because,
you've had some other relationships that sucked. That's why.
Yeah. And it's been a really long time. And it's so, I'm 42 now. So,
you're young, you're still a spring chicken.
I'm still, yeah, but it does still feel like a long time since that, like teenage love thing happened.
But that's teenage love, not adult love.
No. Yeah.
Okay.
And, to be completely honest, when I did get married, it was because it was someone who kind of checked all the boxes, and not that they're not a wonderful person, but he was a very wonderful person, but it was not that real love feeling. And I knew it, and I settled. So I guess I keep settling, and I know it's a pattern I need to stop.
So now let's talk to the part of you that's the settler. Okay. Part of myself that settles for less than perfect. Go ahead and say it.
The part of myself that settles for less than perfect.
All of your goals are now succeeded at.
All of your goals are now succeeded at.
We have settled for everything.
We have settled for everything.
I now release you from all purposes.
I now release you from all purposes.
I have learned every lesson about settling,
I have learned every lesson about settling,
and I've settled with this final conversation.
and I've settled with this final conversation.
It's time for you to evaporate and dissipate
It's time for you to evaporate and dissipate
and disintegrate from my reality
and disintegrate from my reality
and return to me as raw creation, inspiration, and dreams.
and return to me as raw inspiration, creation, and dreams.
Pow.
Thank you.
You're welcome. You got to repeat that technique on yourself.
Okay.
It's as simple as talking to yourself that you already know, the
Mhm.
aspect of yourself,
Hmm.
and flipping the frequency on it.
Okay.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
easy. It's easy self-help work that anyone can do. You just got to identify it in the moment.
Yeah.
Okay. And then begin the journey of repeating the process 10 times a week.
Hmm.
And what you're going to discover is there are these secret parts of yourself that have duplicate purposes or purpose. Okay. Like there's the settler in you. Then there's the settler who uses secrets. And then there's the person in you that just has secrets.
Right.
Some of them share and talk to each other and have an email or a WhatsApp group together. Okay.
Yes.
And you've
Oh.
got to go in there and smash those shared WhatsApp groups and delete all the files.
Agreed. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. And because that would be really wonderful
Right.
to have
to be
that
free.
to be free to have someone to share my life with that's
Mhm.
and kind of resonates with me. And
Mhm.
I know I see people with amazing relationships, and it's like, okay, that does sound like a really wonderful thing. And then I know I put the walls up.
But there's a disbeliever in you too.
Yes.
Yeah.
There is a disbeliever in me that are they really that happy, or are they faking it?
And you got to have a long talk with a disbeliever.
Yes.
Okay. My advice to you is get in contact with that disbeliever and listen to it. Write down all of its arguments for disbelieving in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then sit on it and really, because what you're going to discover is most of these aspects only have one or two things to say, and then they're pretty shallow after that.
Mm-hmm.
When you get down to their core arguments of why you can't do something, you then have time to come up with why you should do it, the counter argument.
Mm-hmm.
And this is how you gain strength to those other weak aspects to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yes, I agree. And I hope that this was an interesting conversation for you. And it
It was.
Good.
It was a good follow-up to, a 7-degree AI specialist.
I'm like, I don't know how I can follow an Arcturian AI specialist. But hey,
you did great. A lot of people are loving you in the chat room.
Thank you all so much.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot for calling. I'm going to move on to the next caller.
Absolutely. Thank you,
You're
Andrew.
welcome.
Good night.
All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who's next.
Okay, next person will be Daniel 35.
Daniel, are you there?
Yes,
Yes, where are you calling from today?
I'm calling from McAllen, Texas.
Welcome
Rio
to the
Grande
show.
Valley.
Yes. What do you want to talk about today?
I want to ask you about the cartels over here in Mexico. I have a house in Mexico, but I had to leave Mexico because I didn't feel safe there. So, now I'm living in Texas.
Okay.
What about? I heard you in another interview with what was that
Andre.
No, that first interview you did with that long interview we did.
Lance White.
Yeah, with Lance. I heard you say that those it was the wizards from Europe, actually, like after the World War II, they left and went to South Mexico, and they became the drug lords or something.
Yep.
Is that still going on?
Oh yeah. I know you've been to Mexico. You know what they're like down there, and you know that they all have their own special religion, right? They have their own special protective angels and saints, right? Even the worst of the murderers, right?
Yeah, the what do you call it, Santa Muerte?
Yes.
Is that like is that like a real
That's a secret
spirit?
mystery school that realized very early in the 1940s and the 1950s that if it got the right type of people who could still do violence and still follow religion, that they could become very wealthy very fast.
Oh. And what's the purpose? It's just like
Control, manipulation, domination.
but it's really like what because Mexico used to be peaceful and it's
But it has a big history of bandits becoming warlords. The Pancho Villa expeditions. Those were armed bandits who suddenly could take over whole towns and cities because no one could stop them. There wasn't a properly trained military or armory.
yeah.
This is history is filled with this. All over the world, this stuff happens. Mexico, it just happened at a whole higher scale because of the volume of people that were in extreme desperation. And that extreme desperation created a whole caste system of robbers who repaid petty citizens and people of lower stature. One of the reasons the cartels owns so many of those cities is they do a lot of good. They pay off a lot of people, right?
Yeah, I mean they were giving food that last week.
Food, everything, medicine. They're paying for heart transplants because they've won the hearts of the people.
Yeah, and most of them they're just like regular people.
Right. Other than the fact that they've murdered a whole bunch of people.
Yeah,
Okay? But we don't talk about that because they're paying for the school system in the whole town.
yeah, I've seen most of like even like the churches, your local church,
Right.
the schools are actually
Right.
built by them. Because I mean, 'cause most of them actually like they want to like make a quick buck and maybe like help around. But it's really like good people I've seen because
right, just like the mafia.
Yeah, they helped around.
It's like the Robin Hood mafia story. Now, how do you beat it? Right? That's your big question, right?
Yeah, I've seen that this new president is you know it seems like he's doing like different.
No, he's not. He has no intention of beating them. If he wanted to beat him, all he'd do is legalize it and take taxes from it.
Yeah,
it end the whole drug trade worldwide if Mexico alone legalized everything and put it under the taxation process. But yeah, they won't do it. They won't do it because the kickback from all the other world governments would be too much. This goes with any country that has a serious mafia in drug industry. That has always been the name. Legalize it. Once you legalize it, there's no need to be a criminal anymore. No need to murder people for the local streets anymore.
Yeah, and I mean the drug money is one of the Mexico's like.
It's like 3/4 of it's a secret economy, right?
Yeah, that and the whatever money the immigrants send over there to Mexico.
Right. You know the Make America Great and Make Mexico Great Again.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously that solution is not viable to legalize everything. And everyone's trying to figure out what the interim solution before we all agree that until you legalize it and get the criminality out of it, there's nothing's gonna stop it. Very little. Okay. What they're doing now, allowing it in some places and not, that's the best thing to do. The thing is, how do you stop the violence?
Yeah, because it's like it's brutal. It's just like
it's brutal.
cutting people's heads, and I mean, I guess that's the way the cartels actually like intimidate themselves. 'Cause that's actually what it is. They intimidate one another, so the people can join. Like the one that's more fierce, I guess. But I mean, it's like I mean, it was like unheard of even since before all that drug war started. I mean, it was just like I mean, I used to think like Mexico's being like so very passive, it's just docile, but now it's just like the complete the complete opposite. I'm even like scared. It's just I go once in a while over there, but
What part
I
of
mean,
Mexico?
it's in Reynosa, right in the border. So
Okay.
I'm over here, like Bronzeville, and
Yeah.
I live right in the border.
Right in the harsh areas.
Yeah, I mean that's where most of the big cartels. That's what they want to control most because I mean they want to control like who anybody would like crosses anything or any business activity they want part of it. I mean it's just it's just like unbelievable, and I'm just waiting to see if, when all this is gonna like end because it's like I haven't I
Not
mean
anytime soon.
think so. Because I mean I worked all my life like building my house over there in Mexico, and now I have to rent. I live like so I'm just like
Listen,
wow.
what do you think the COVID-19 isolation stuff is doing to the drug dealers?
Oh yeah, I mean the product.
What do you think? What do you think is going on now there?
I think they're probably like looking for other ways to make money. I think it's even more dangerous because now they're probably gonna start like hijacking anything they can get their hands on or something. I don't know, but
Obviously, they're going to do whatever they can do to make money. But New York went into lockdown. All the bars shut down. You know what that does to a lot of the corner drug dealers? They're out of business.
yeah, I bet they're
Right? There's a
suffering
lot
right
of
now.
corners that are illegally bankrupt right now. Okay.
Yeah, because they even charge the businesses.
Right. New York City goes through 4 tons of cocaine a month, or 5 tons of cocaine a month, something crazy like that, or a week.
Yeah,
sorry,
that's
a lot of cocaine.
That's a lot of
That's a
sniffing.
lot of cocaine. Exactly.
He was just like who's doing all that?
Okay.
But
what happens if a lot of those drug dealers get COVID-19 and die off?
I mean, they probably like look for somebody else. I mean, there's like an abundance.
There's always
going
to be another schmo that's going to take over.
Yeah, because I mean, I've seen a lot of people get killed. I mean, even like the head guys, they get killed, and then the next day there's already
his ninth cousin takes over.
Yeah, because everybody wants to like the fame, I think it's mostly like the fame of like saying like, well, he actually went to the top, which
Right.
I think most people. I mean, I've heard of cases where the people is just like they don't even get to charge like their first paycheck because they get killed like the first couple of days.
That's right.
It's just
cutthroat industry. They don't even get their first illegal paycheck. Whack, bam.
And it's just like
next. Next. Who's in charge next?
It is just like it's unbelievable. And I mean, I'm just like wishing for all this to end.
Well, wishing's not going to get you anywhere.
Yeah, but I mean, I what can we do? Just
all you can do is educate people on the truth. That's all you can do.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I always try to talk to people, even like the regular guy, about like
But you're not going to get through to the regular guy. You're not a regular guy anymore. You're above the regular people right now. You've made it out of mediocrity.
Yeah, and that's what's, I guess that's one of the downsides of this world, because most people are just like living like,
Lazy.
yeah. I mean, lazy for one thing, because I mean, most people over there in Mexico, they come from like the religious perspective about
Mhm.
like Jesus coming to
Yep.
save you, and all you gotta do is just like be a martyr all your life, and just like you're gonna inherit heaven after you die. And
Kind of hard to talk to them, isn't it?
it's just like let's just take the pain. Actually, that's that's what it boils down to. It's
Mhm.
just like we just like there's no other way. That's the only way that there is. It's just like be a martyr, and that's gonna be our life, and that's the way it's always been. And
How did you get out of it?
I don't know. I think it was just like one of the my reasons that I believe I'm even like interested in this about the horoscope. Like Pisces. I'm Pisces, so
Mhm.
and it says like in your horoscope, it says like well, Pisces are like very like attracted to the occult and the esoteric systems, and very spiritual, and that's that's probably like I've been always been attracted to like because over there in Mexico there was always like your like your neighborhood, like what they call like shaman, or your like spiritual doctor.
Mhm.
And most people have, I mean, they don't have no money, so the first thing most of the people, it's just like as soon as they feel, they sense like something wrong in their life, that's the first thing they go to like like, going and asking questions about like why am I why did this happen, because they're supposed to be psychic too and all that.
Mhm. So let
And they
me ask you the
like,
question again. What got you out of the religious groups and into your own thinking? What was your journey?
I think I done drugs mostly, like
Mhm.
marijuana, and
Mhm.
that's when I was like under the influence that I started seeing, that movie like they live.
Mhm.
I
Yes.
used I like that's to me it seemed like that way, like whenever I was under the influence, it seemed like that's when I put like those glasses on, and I started seeing like
Things you
there
didn't
was,
want to see. Mhm.
well
I know the
it
movie.
was,
I know the movie quite well. It had Rowdy Piper in it.
yeah, it was I mean that's when I started realizing that it's actually like it's all like a mind game, that there's people like programs that they're like the the that's the manipulation of the people that like that's where I started seeing like there's like the belief system, and I even I started well, I would see like the like the influence that the
Controlled
religion.
masses were under. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Drugs reveal that to a lot of people, which triggers paranoia.
And that's when I started like sensing that there was something more than just like living, that there was
Mhm.
answers that. And I started like that's when I started like studying psychology,
Mhm.
and I could sense that all that was true, that there was actually like there was actually like everything was an influence. Whatever you're exposed to is what actually influences your way of thinking, the way that you even live your life, the way,
Mhm.
I mean, everything has an influence on you.
Mhm.
So that's when I started like seeking for answers,
Mhm.
and that's when I just got into all the conspiracy theories, and just like just learning about everything, whatever a lot of people, anything that seemed like a cultist. And I mean, at first you start from the bottom, right? Because you start like growing, because
Hmm.
like I think I like right now I think like when I first started, like how wrong I was. I was actually like I was listening to that Corey Good and all that,
Uh-huh.
but you
Well,
grow out of that, right?
here's an idea for you. Why
Yeah.
don't you write a book that's specifically for Mexican people, the shortcut to understanding conspiracies and what people to not get lost in, like Corey and some of the other ones, like you just said. Okay.
Yeah.
Write it
Yeah,
in
'cause,
the natural language so they get the shortcut of what people don't invest your time in. This is what they're going to tell you. It's coming tomorrow. It's happening tomorrow. And tomorrow never comes.
yeah, I mean, it's basically like an incentive to just don't do anything. Like it's actually like incentivizing ignorance because somebody else is gonna do it for you. That's basically what they like. And the way to do things too. There's not a lot of information like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? The way even like business or that it's all like a contract. Like they say, as above, so below. Like even in
Well, baby,
spirituality, it's actually contract too.
yeah, that's our bell. I got to let you go, but think about writing a shortcut manual for all the people in Mexico so they don't get caught up in the dumb conspiracies.
Yeah. That's good. That's a good idea. Write in a book, right? It'll
There you
influence a
go.
lot of people.
Shortcut, not to what get lost in. Here's the shortcut to understanding the conspiracies. All right, thanks a lot for calling in.
All right, thank you very much, man.
You're welcome.
I mean, man.
Robert, is Monty there today?
Yes, I am.
Hello, Mr. Monty Dean. How are you doing today?
I'm good. Just a quick question. What day is it?
Thursday.
Oh,
All day.
But I'm from the future, so it's Friday. Okay.
Yes, you're from that future land of Australia.
Yes. We follow New Zealand, so hello all the Kiwis, and a quick shout out to all the Pisces in the room, because there's a lot of us.
All the Pisceans unite.
Yes. Arrange your fish in the right direction.
That will make a school of fish.
Yes, which is good because we're on the Galactic Ascension machine, which is a college, and I'm just tired.
We're all tired, to tell you the truth.
We can all see why. We can get into that a bit as well, but I must bring it up just to clear my sort of cache in my record, but in a joking way. You've changed, man, because I had a lovely shock turning on the Zoom room because I was 6 minutes in. It's like, oh wow, a chin.
Yes, a chin.
Well, just a very quick. When was the last time you had a hairless chin?
December. Go back and look at the videos. Yeah, I think it's December.
Oh well, there, ladies and gentlemen, I've just proved that I'm a terrible stalker. And I'm actually a passive stalker. I let you come to me.
Well, if you look at the videos, you'll see it grow.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Originally, it was going to be a coronavirus beard until coronavirus ended, and then I realized it ain't gonna end. It'll be like ZZ Top.
Yeah, thank you, Gandalf. Yes. You haven't aged a day.
Exactly. And it was just one of those in the moment things. I was stroking my beard like I do normally. I'm like, it's time to go. And I just got up, grabbed the shaver, and bzzz, 5 minutes later, here I am.
Well, that's the same thing. I come from the world of heavy metal, and I'm also a comedian, so I walk in both worlds, which is very interesting. But I would cut my hair because things happen. You do that, but everyone freaks out. And it grows back. It grows even after you die. So it's people don't realize it's like I'm not going to shave my head for the rest of eternity. And that's why it's growing out. So it grows back constantly. Now, I do have a question as well. how to put it forward? Did you see that the Pentagon finally verified there's UFOs?
Yes. And then Trump said, "Oh, yes, that's an interesting video, but I don't particularly believe in them because it's a setup."
Okay, because that sounds like chemtrails. Chemtrails aren't real. Well, what the hell is that straight white line across the horizon that's taking 45 minutes to do? Because a lot
You're
of
a
people
conspiracy theorist. You're banned. Can't talk about that.
Yeah, don't look up. Don't look up. Because I know
much.
that the footage has been around for up to a decade or more, but the story is that the Pentagon has actually said yes. And in my small group circle thingy, we just found it interesting. It actually filled up about an hour of my roundtable, which is good because I don't have much. Coronavirus, yes, again, is that why now? Why? And of course, we started playing the what if game, and that was fun. But yeah, it was interesting. The timing of it's like. And a lot of people are like even Seth Green from Family Guy, and that level of acting. A lot of people are saying, 2020 is really weird when the Pentagon verifies UFOs and no one cares.
Well, it's the third time they've identified that video is true.
Okay.
The world's just not caring.
Yeah. It's
when they have to confirm it 3 times. Okay,
yes.
It's the same video Tom DeLonge and To the Stars and Beyond came up with, or To the Stars Academy.
Well,
it's the same fucking videos. It all came out during the Podesta emails. Same videos.
Yeah, because it didn't feel. It just the timing of it felt strange, but the video itself, it's quite boring. Really, it's like, oh look, they're tracking a white dot. Huzzah. But it was just fascinating to see how, look, UFOs exist. Yes, but are you standing 1.5 meters away from me? Just back up, buddy. So yeah, it's if it was supposed to be a distraction, it didn't work. But we question the idea of the reversal of that, which is because they are distracted, they can start releasing all this type of truth. But I didn't realize that they officially confirmed it 3 times.
Yeah, back when did Tom DeLonge stuff come out? 2 years ago? The Tic Tac video? That's the same video re-released. Different planes.
Yeah, because I'm from the old, the metal alternative world, and he used to be in Blink 182, and it was fascinating to see someone at his level, playing not stadiums but playing festivals and earning money and videos and everything else like that. Strangely enough, I just made one of their videos. He had Alyssa Milano in their thing, so connections.
Mm-hmm.
And she's doing well after the whole Biden mess. Like, believe women, and now it's I believe Joe Biden. Like, all right, cool, different conversation.
Yep. Throwing the females under the bus.
Oh yeah. Rose McGowan, I think her name is. Yeah, she came out and she's like she's been red pilled on a certain level where she realized the Democratic Party seems to be corrupt. Now I know everyone listening is probably going, but
they're all corrupt. Yeah, they're all corrupt just as equally.
Yes, well, that's what she sort of pointed out. We were told the Republicans are the bad guys, and she's basically realized, or she's announced that she's not happy with the Democratic side of the party, and so she's sort of moving away of like, oh, they're bad too. Like, yeah.
You want to know the difference between the Democrats and the Republicans?
The spelling.
Nope. The Republicans just ask for more money in the bribes.
Well, that's sort of like Australia here, like liberal. The conservatives, they're called liberal.
The liberals are cheaper. The conservatives are more expensive in the bribe. That's the difference.
Yeah, in Australia, the way it works is you got Labor, which is supposed to support the workforce. Strangely enough, they would spend a lot of money, and then you have the Liberals, the Conservatives come in, and they would tighten up and try and rein back spending, and so you have that ebb and flow type thing, where it's like, here's also this free stuff, and now there's 5 years of clamping down to pay for it, and then you swap sides, and free stuff clamping, and the pattern continues.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I know.
So the Democrats have buy one corrupted law, get one free. The Republicans are pay for one, the other two are more expensive. Okay,
we can
that's
give you
the
this
only difference between their forms of corruption.
So the car salesman, like, yeah, we can give you the hatchback, but if you pay a little bit extra, you can have
Exactly.
fuel injection and a spoiler.
And when you come to buy your next car, it's going to be more expensive.
Why would I need to buy another car? Well, see,
This
we'll
one's going to
release-
break down real soon.
Yeah, and,
Next election cycle.
and once you drive this car off the lot, it depreciates by 30%.
70,
Good luck
actually.
with that. Oh, well, still, something. Yeah. It's better just wait. You buy something that's 6 months old, and it's so much like, who was it? Was it BMW? Whoever made the Mini? They
Cooper.
bought, they were their own company, and then they got bought out by Mercedes or some big company.
Mercedes.
They upped the price just because of the brand recognition.
No, the parts changed.
Oh, okay.
The part suppliers changed, and they stopped breaking down and having all of these transmission issues, which is why Mini failed in the first place, because they had the worst transmission parts in the world. You could have a brand new one, and it would have transmission issues from 1 mile on the speedometer to the day you got rid of it, because it had transmission issues the whole time.
Yeah, my parents bought Minis for a while, which is check the water and fill up the oil.
And you got to make sure that the blinker fluid was always full.
Yeah. I just fed the squirrel that was working it, but
The blinker fluid, that's what fucks Minis all the time.
And interesting, there was a documentary which is like 21 years ago. Martin Sheen actually narrated it, Who Killed the Electric Car. I don't know if you ever saw that.
Yes, I've actually seen that video.
Yeah, it's quite good because it's fascinating where they had all these, I think it was General Motors, had all these cars, but you leased them. They weren't sold. And then they realized, I think the pressure from the oil companies is like, oh, we can't do this, blah, blah, blah. And so they're, because they work kind of well for the level of technology. But one thing they sort of pointed out is it's basically like putting a battery in and there's a cog. Like the whole collapse of spare parts and mechanics, because there's, instead of thousands of bits moving, there's probably 5 or 6 things. And so there's an element of, from an economic side, that would all collapse.
Well, that's part of it. But Ford was ready to make electrical cars everywhere. And then Westinghouse told them no. There was a whole bunch of other things going on there too.
Now, I don't know if it's true or not, but it was a good picture. But they had seen a picture of electric car in 1904. I think there was a Japanese company that had electric car in 1947. And so the idea is
1929, they had an electric car.
Yeah. Been around for a while.
Yeah. They had electric cars that was supposed to replace the streetcars.
Is that
taxis and streetcars were all to be electric for the big cities. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they knew pollution was gonna kill the city.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was watching The Crown, and one of the episodes is called An Act of God. For whatever reason, in the mid-50s, the weather just worked so well that the pollution of London couldn't be moved, and it was a thick fog, and everyone was coughing, and you couldn't see 3 feet in front of you.
It was worse than all the Chinese cities where you would look at the fog out the windows and you couldn't see the building next to you.
Yeah. And that's what I find fascinating is like, yeah, we've been screaming about pollution since 70 years ago or more. And
like, if anybody was teleported back into 1900 to 1920 in any major big city, you would still see feces on the streets because most people didn't have flush toilets. There wasn't electricity anywhere, and there was pollution everywhere.
And also, most of them were high as a kite as well.
Right, and drunk as skunks.
Yeah,
from morning to night because there wasn't clean water.
Oh, so did we discover a time loop? It's just worse now because we're not as high. Because I think we just described San Francisco.
any major city that had any industrial base.
Yeah. Oh, fun times. Yeah. Yeah. I always wondered the North America, they referred to it as a drugstore, and then they have a drug war. I'm like, we call them chemists here in Australia. So interesting.
They had the special forces in the drug war.
Yeah. Well, we're supposed to be stealth. You have a corner shop, Daryl. You suck at it. So yeah, and which is interesting how, like, you were referring to Mexico, how people in the chat mentioned Holland. They sort of decriminal, and was it Peru or there's
bunch
another
of
country.
countries. Yeah, proves it all. Decriminalize it.
Yeah, and think is it that classic rebellious human trait where we don't like being told what to do, and so like, oh, drugs are bad. Well, I should take them. Oh, these now are illegal and you can buy them. Well, I'm not going to do that.
I don't think it's that simple.
Yeah, okay.
But once you legalize them, it's far easier to have a legal business than to be murdering people for your local territory.
Oh yeah, I was looking at the other end where users, like people actually try it, because
On the user end, all the countries that have legalized it and allowed the medical profession to take over addiction and keep the law out of it, they've proven you can handle all of it and you lower your overall usage.
Yeah, and also, well, yeah, the negative sides of it, because there's quality control, obviously.
Right, not just the quality control, price control too.
Oh yes, yeah. Why is my cocaine has Omo in it? Well, that's not going to happen anymore.
Right.
Yeah, and then the battling of addictions, and because that's one of the things that usage went down. Obviously, there is the knock-on effect with the business side of things, and like people have put forward from the conspiracy world that as things have been legalized or they're busting major rings or stop Afghanistan creating poppies, that the black hats are losing funding because that money stream's been dried up.
That's gone. Yep.
Yeah, because don't visit the conspiracy world, people, especially in this moment of now, because we don't know nothing. Like, as you've said before, Andrew, nothing has turned up in the conspiracy world for 10 years, and we like to dissect things, but we bring up 9/11 to fill time.
So next time you're at your round table, make the round table what is new that's come out in 10 years, and not regurgitated and brought back up because you haven't talked about it in 5 years. What is actually new? The answer is nothing.
Yes, apart
all
from
the stuff they were talking about on the round table in 2012 is the same shit they're talking about today.
Not apart from, amplified because of the coronavirus.
Mm-hmm.
And so, that's interesting where people, they get locked in. It's like, I've been searching for this and it's now happening. There's two responses where they freak out because, oh crap, it's real. Or they keep pushing the idea of this is, New World Order. I'm like, they may try it. It won't work though. The New World Order, if the New World Order ever got into place, it would last 8 months because they'll all be backstabbing each other and it wouldn't work.
It won't work.
And what I find funny as well is that they keep making movies about rebellions like Star Wars and stuff. How are you supposed to control a populace if you keep giving the idea of rise up against your masters type thing? Like, this is not going to work.
I don't have an answer to that one. I've been trying to motivate these people for a long time.
I know. Look, they're even showing you in the movies. It's like this.
Right. Like what the fuck else do I need to do?
Hello. Yeah.
I mean, the audience here is the same things. They're all like, what the hell else do we got to do?
Yeah. It's I always revert to save yourself, save the world, change your vibration, do your inner work, and you should see the reflection.
You know how well that line works? I've been spitting that for a long time, and like, tomorrow, whatever.
Yeah. And this is a good time to bring up.
I don't want to work on myself. You don't know what you're talking about. I'm perfectly fine. Whatever.
Yeah, and the Prime creator releases a virus and forces you into your house arrest for 3 months, and then you wonder why I'm going insane. I hate myself. I need to do my work. Not people listening.
Exactly. But then there are the ones that get locked in their house, play video games for 3 months. Can we go back yet? Nope. I'm gonna go play more video games. Can we go back yet? Nope. More video games.
Yeah, my personal aspect of the whole thing of house arrest is like being a hermit for 4 years, didn't really mingle, go out, be social, didn't leave the house that much. and then the government says I have to do this. It's like, well,
I want to go
don't
out
want-
now, rebel.
Yeah, I know. It's
Look at
like,
you,
how
rebel.
dare you, sir? I will see you on the field of battle.
I will rebel.
Yeah, exactly. I want to leave the house now. Also, at the same time, they're like, you know what? I think about I'll start dating again. And then the virus hit and it's like, yeah, well played, universe. Well played.
We're going to have a hermits convention.
Well, do you know how hard it is to try and get hermits? Like, we tried 10 years ago, but no one turned up.
Well, it's like herding a bunch of feral cats.
Yeah. Across state lines.
Or countries.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't see you at the hermit convention.
I did. I didn't see you at the hermit convention. I was in my room the whole time.
I was there. I signed in. I got my stickers, and then I watched, Netflix for 4 days. If you want to see a hermit convention, just look outside now. That's what it looks like.
Yeah, pretty much. So a couple months ago, I found out they had an anarchist convention. And it was called Anarchists Unite, and it was in Costa Rica.
How did that go?
I don't know. I didn't go. And it's just a fucking oxymoron. Anarchists Unite.
Yeah, it's like, okay,
Google
everyone,
it, guys. If you don't believe me, Google it.
Okay, we need everyone to sign in, get a name tag, and please be here at 10 o'clock. That's going to work out well. Badges? We didn't know stinking badges.
Exactly.
Where did everyone go? No, you can't have your deposit back.
Yeah, it's just, I can't believe Anarchists Unite.
I can.
Well, I just like, what the hell is? Do you not even realize what you're advertising?
Yeah, well, this is the state of humanity where I can see where people think, oh, humanity's lost. It's like, no, they're just unique beings going through an experience. Don't go near them, but they're having a unique experience. There was, I think, a Democratic Party, not party, but supporters meeting, and they banned clapping, and they had to do jazz hands to clap to show that, because like some loud noises can affect people.
Yes. You might have a narcoleptic seizure from clapping.
Yeah. Also, you couldn't use the term guys because that's misgenderification of the person that they want. And like, yeah, it's just like pure woke. It was very, very. Well, once you get past the shock, it is slightly amusing. Where it's like, you're free to do whatever you want, but you can't clap. You have to listen to my pronouns. There's 57 of them. Oh, very quickly, do you know why it's very hard to join the army these days? Because if you get in trouble, you have to dig the latrines, and there's 57 of them. You get into the 40s, like, I'm tired, sir. Keep digging. Yeah, that's a
fucked up world we live in, dude. Fucked up world.
Oh yeah, and we're glad to be. I think that's why there's the only try comedy. That's the only way you couldn't be serious in this world. Like, I think David Icke says one thing that I do like of David Icke is, why be sane in an insane world? Have a bit of insanity and laugh and move through this fascinating reality.
So when did you first really hear David Icke's stuff, and how did it affect you when you first heard his stuff?
Would have been.
And I want to ask this to everyone in the chat room right now, and everyone that's listening. Go into the comment section and tell me your first impressions about David Icke, and then your last impressions about David Icke. So I pose this question to you, Monty, and I ask everyone else to write in also.
Well, my start of the conspiracy side of things was 2006 by a documentary called 9/11 in Plain Sight. Plain was with an E, and that was actually on free-to-air television, which is fascinating. I still have the DVD. That led, I think, Alex Jones before that, and then I saw Icke, because as you start looking and everything, because someone did mention it about 2-3 years earlier because of my love of Bill Hicks, if you can see that connection jump. And so 2008, 2007, 2008, maybe 2009, he was banned from touring Australia. So in the conspiracy, you get into, he's banned. Oh, I wonder what this information is. And then you get told, he talks for 8 hours. I'm like, oh God, just a quick show. I found it interesting, and because there was so much information, it was very like wading through quicksand in a way, I think. And you sort of have to have repeat viewings or have just to collect the information. It was fascinating to see how all the dots, and you learn a lot. And there's the aspect of I think it's a documentary in '99 called "David Icke Was Right," and all the stuff that he was correct about. They put into that. So he's not a soothsayer or Jesus, but he did say that. But at the start, nowadays, if I can skip to the other end, he's not a gatekeeper, but he's a starting point. And you don't have to become an Icke-alite or an Icke whatever. And it's fascinating the information he puts forward. What doesn't resonate with me is some of his conclusions. And so that's where, and in the reality of now, you don't have to agree with everything, because I guess the premise is there's something's wrong. Here's the information I've been looking at. And some of them, it's like, oh, that's slightly off the mark, or that doesn't resonate. And so that's where I'm at, basically, with him, where he's on my multi-dimensional radar, but he's not the savior in that respect.
Okay, so I'm gonna play devil's asshole for a second here.
Ooh.
What is there negative about his teachings?
Ooh,
You're a conspiracy person. You know what Flat Earth has done. You know what some of these other stupid ass conspiracies. What has he done that has been negative to the overall teachings? Well,
in the chat room, they're bringing up fear porn. He uses
baby rape and lizards.
Yeah. And I'm sure there's 6 people who did that once, if I can use that example. But the way he keeps it's been put out there that the Queen is a lizard and we're totally controlled by, like, his narrative is almost like a Disney movie, if I can say it that way. And I mean, it's hard to describe. Me saying,
just try it, and everyone in the chat room, keep on typing, and everybody in the comment section, keep on typing. I'm not dissing the guy. The guy's got a lot of really good material, but there's another side to him that if he had just been a little bit more aware, he could have promoted this material way farther.
Well, just a thought came to mind. He only puts together one solution, which is like, get off your knees. Like, well, how does one do that without being killed? Or it's non-violent revolution, but there's an element of anger. There seems to be a mixture of negative in there. Yes,
right. A classic British sportsman looking for validation if his thoughts are my way's the only way.
Yes, yeah, even if it's subconscious, but yeah, it is there, and in a way, he's in that superstar alternative world. He's in a superstar of the alternative world.
Yeah, he verbally vomits everything without thinking and listening. Great one, Robert. So true.
Yeah.
He doesn't own his words. And all of the words he said over his entire career.
Well, like the recent interview with London, I've forgotten the
London
name.
Real, great interview.
Yeah.
It reveals a lot about the person. Not everything's true there, but reveals a lot about the person.
And he's got like humans, you have pathways, because if you keep having same thoughts, the brain synapses work in a certain way. Because he keeps saying, like, the way, because he condenses it, which is fascinating, because he could take 3 hours to answer a question
that could be answered yes or no.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. There is no virus, and 5G is to be blamed, or something like. It's interesting. Like 5G is interesting. It can be used badly, and it could be used goodly. That's a silly word. And it's the thing is, they keep trying to ban him on a certain level because they probably just don't like to be agitated, but that reinforces the martyr aspect of him. Like when Alex Jones got deplatformed, that's not a good move, where it's like you deplatform somebody who said that the big tech companies are working together to deplatform people. Well, you just did that. Well done. Yeah, it's his perception that's put forward. I'm not sure about privately, but publicly, his perception seems to be a little bit narrow, if I can put it that way.
So I'm going to say something that's going to be controversial. Alex Jones got deplatformed so he wouldn't influence the election, period. That's the only reason. They left him online about saying all the school shootings, so on, were fake and fake. They left him on there for years. They deplatformed him because they know he was going to influence the election. And he was going to make a lot of money doing it. That's why he got deplatformed. No other reason.
Yeah. Which, once again, in the broader things, that reinforces what's going. But yeah, because the media, they didn't think Trump would win, or he wasn't supposed to win, or whatever.
Right.
And this, you can see it in the Democratic Party. Instead of finding a leader with good policies and trying to bring America back again, it's basically been a 6-year going, I don't like you, Orange Man bad. And so there's no opposition. And now you got Biden, who fell asleep on air, has been the hypocrisy of the Kavanaugh experience to the Biden experience, where beer is code word for gang rape, and Biden's been filling up kids in front of press conferences for years, and it's like, oh no, we'll back off. We need evidence. The hypocrisy of the, what's the word I'm looking for? It's the opposite, basically, where it's we don't like this guy, so he's getting hammered. Oh, we like this guy, so we'll give him a free pass.
Very much. So I'm gonna reiterate the questions for everyone else that hasn't had a chance yet. What else is there bad about David Icke? Before we get into the positive.
You can have a
let's talk the obvious that no one wants, the whole lizard people conversation.
I was going to go with money, but then you've got lizard, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
What did that really do for the world?
It's sort of I don't see any positives of it, because sidestep very quickly, it could be referring to the reptilian brain where there's no emotions and stuff like that, but it comes out, when you say there are lizard people running the planet, they think of the TV show V, where they're 6-foot actual lizards.
It devalidated the whole conspiracy community.
Yes. Yeah.
It took all the hardworking researchers and said, you're all fucked. Because David Icke said, lizard wizard baby rapers are running your world. Get up off your knees and fight the lizard baby rapers.
Yeah, your tinfoil hat, which I never understood that, because like I'm from the generation where you would put foil on your TV antenna to get a better signal. Like, why would you have a tinfoil hat? Because it would just increase the bandwidth anyway. But yeah, Alex Jones actually described him before he met him. So who knows what happened behind the scenes? But he referred to David Icke as the turd in the punch bowl.
Yes, the turd in the punch bowl. Now let's flip it. What good did David Icke do?
He made people aware, and I'm going to choose my word correctly, get people to investigate, because I know people like to say research. And he exposed a lot of ideas to
ayahuasca.
Yeah. The banking system and everything else like that as well. Yeah.
Banking, get off your knees in the good way.
Yep. Just the idea that we live in a hologram. Now, when I say hologram, I don't mean it's a false construct like you have a VR on your head. It's a spiritual thing. Like, on a certain level, spiritually, we're all in the mind of the prime creator, if I can explain it that way. You can explain consciousness using crappy English scientific words, where it's source light matrix. Thank you, Danny. Where it's still a construct, but that's reality. You can explain reality, natural reality, in a form of that language.
Okay, I'll add this. He got people to fill up stadiums for conspiracy talk. Whole stadiums. He did that. Who else is doing that in the whole fucking community?
Yeah.
No one.
He showed an option to the false reality that the mainstream puts forward.
Right. He filled up stadiums around the world like a band, like a rock band.
Yeah. Yeah. I've been to one of his things, and if you have the stamina, you can follow it along and you hear tidbits. And even if you know all of his stuff, you still want to see him how he just stands there for 8 hours with a clicker without sort of losing any energy, and just goes through all this stuff because he knows it. And it's fascinating because you can get drawn into it. But if you observe...
He's a damn good speaker.
Yes.
Damn good speaker.
Yes. And his baptism of fire was that Wogan interview where I think he tapped into Christ consciousness or what. However, he said that he was Jesus Christ, and he was laughed at for
good, bad, take it and leave it, grain of salt.
Yeah. But for the next 10 years or even more, but 10 years, he was ridiculed. And, like comics would actually go on stage and just say David Icke and get a laugh.
Right.
And so there's that personally, that interesting soul contract to actually have. But that's formed him where he has that shield, however you want to explain it, where his ego doesn't kick in.
No, his ego is working with his consciousness. That's what makes David Icke a superpower being. His ego's like, fuck it, I'm working with him.
I've tried. Let's do something else.
But that other side of him, damn, is powerful. My ego can't beat it.
Yeah. And the stuff you bring in, you could verify like the stories, the experiences of other people where apparently, I think it was a doctor, she had a stroke, and for whatever reason, her left brain switched off for a second or was put on pause, and she was just running on the right brain. And you can find the story and can be verified. But that was fascinating with just the right brain working in the Matrix, because she tried to phone someone because she needed help. But if you're just dealing with symbols, colors, emotions, instead of all the analytical, I don't know if anyone's been really high on acid, try and, fold a letter or try and do anything apart from stare into the void, per se. Mm-hmm. It's very hard to even try and walk sometimes where you're tripping balls. You trip over your balls, basically.
That's because they have elephantitis.
Yes, it's very painful, and I wouldn't recommend it. But he's still, and also he's persistent. He's put forward, and you can see his success rate with predictions, which in a way, like, I'm not totally against Alex Jones, because he uses white paper. He uses the documentation from the governments. The whole yelling, turning frogs gay, and the vein popping and all. I'm not a fan of that.
Neither am I. Again, Alex has been right about more things than all of us want to admit, and so is David Icke. Okay.
Yeah,
he has. Got to give the guys credit, no matter how much you may dislike their presentation style.
Yes. Now, it's not gatekeeper. What's the word? But they're a starting point. Like, if you find Alex Jones and David Icke, you eventually end up at Andrew Bartzis as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you may leave Alex and David behind, and you're aware of them. And like, I would subscribe to InfoWars for a year, just finding all the information and everything else like that. But as you expand your consciousness, because I remember sort of, I think it was a 9/11 protest or whatever. I can't remember exactly what it was, but I remember saying, because you just deal with like 9/11 was an inside job. And then you've got the other, then you get told, you're a multi-dimensional being and there's dark entities running the planet. Bit of a jump. Yeah, okay, sure, lady. Yeah, you weirdo. But if you follow it through and your expressions in your experience and your the blocks in your reality start to dissolve, and you do the inner work, night of the soul and everything else like that, you end up in the spiritual side of things. David Wilcock is interesting as well. Where
Hold on. Let's finish on David Icke. So we've done the good, the bad. Now let's look at the ugly side of David Icke. I'm not dissing David Icke. I'm trying to break things down. He's been absolutely a fabulous teacher for a lot of people. He just went overboard in some of his shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just like a rock band that does too much cocaine.
Yeah. Like, we don't need a 20-minute solo here.
Exactly. All right. What's the ugly stuff that's harmed the whole industry? I know we talked about baby raping lizards, but there's a variety of other stuff that's harmed the whole industry.
Well, yeah, because the perception from the mainstream, I'm trying to find the right word, normies, but the mainstream general public, they hear about David Icke, and they, instead of going, you are all that is, was, and will be, and you can actually see how an element of reality is being controlled, and you can tap into your higher self and become a co-created being. The Queen's a lizard. They go to that out of 12 hours talking. Oh, the Queen's a lizard. And so, he's an idiot, switched off. And so it's polluted the waters in that respect. In a way, he's been weaponized.
Yes. Do you remember his Connecting the Dots series?
Not off the top of my head.
So
no.
that was when he was trying to make his TV station, worldwide TV station, and he screwed it up hardcore and had millions of dollars invested into it and went nowhere. And he put this super high-end Connecting the Dots series together, which started out as a great idea, but it just led back to baby raping lizard wizards.
Yeah.
Okay. That's what the dots led to.
Yes, but that's what we know the dots can go somewhere else. But yes, that once again, that's fear and negative. Even though I know he's trying to get off your knees, wake humanity up. There are you could at least point out, like, he does sort of put forward solutions, but it comes to a small group of people that rape and eat babies and they're off-world and blah blah blah. But by then, because it's so fantastical, some people can't handle it, or it's so ridiculous for their experience in the now, they can't accept it and they're turned off by it.
Okay.
So
now let's switch to old Wilcocky.
Yeah. Well,
what is the good he's done? All of his first series of books were outstanding. All of his stand-up talks that he did, outstanding. It's when he decided to make himself an insider, with insider telling him it's happening tomorrow, is where he fucked the rest of the community. He could have just been a presenter showing everybody and had that stuff as an ancillary process. Because what is David's main message? Watch my shit. It's happening tomorrow. Buy my product, bitches.
Yeah. It's as someone's the ego came in. It
is an ego. It is an ego. At this level, it is an ego. It's I'm an insider. I'm hierarchical. You're not.
Yeah, division. Yeah, instead of because I used to go to his website and geez, he loves a good type. Where I've released a small essay. And he does explain, but 80% of it could be fluffed. Where it's like you could cut this down to good, this person bad, but he takes you on a journey and he's creative and like the books that he put out though, highly
amazing shit. Source Field Investigations, revolutionary work of putting it all together. No one else but him did it.
Yeah, Synchronicity Key.
Yep.
Everything else like that, and then something, I don't know, it was when Corey Good turned up or something, but there was a change, and you can tell. And,
yes,
the resonance of the vibration felt like, ooh, no, because like he put forward the law of one, which I'm not 100% like, yeah, that kind of works.
Yeah, he got blue chickened.
yeah, those foul Smurfs. Because that falls into the savior complex type thing, where the blue chickens will save you. Well, no, piss off. That's one thing. Like when the aliens, when the general public, like, oh, there's extraterrestrials and aliens. Like, yeah, hello, how are you? Now piss off for a year. We have to deal with this. Okay. Thank you, Robert. Yeah, I have nightmares now.
Okay.
What?
So I'm going to reiterate. David Wilcox is an amazing teacher.
Yes.
He went off the rails with the whole I'm the insider thing. That's
Yeah.
it. That's it.
Yeah.
Does that make him a bad person like Ike? I'm not saying Ike's a bad person. No, it just makes them at the top with all the targets and bullseyes pointed at them, and they have to be more responsible for what they say, how they say it, and what they imply with what they're saying.
Yeah. It was interesting that he
Like
in the middle of
listen, right now he's trying to sell a $700 healing course product on his website during freaking COVID-19.
I was about to mention that. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like, how's that helping humanity? Where you have to, no one can buy food, and you're like, "Oh, just give me $700." What?
Right. He's getting 500,000 people watching each of those 5-hour broadcasts he's doing. Okay, he could lower the price and still make the same amount of money, half of it.
Yeah.
And make a payment plan on half the prices.
Now, well, why are people not? I'm not up having a go at people. Why are people clinging to that? Is it because they can see hope in it because of what's going on, and they're going through their own transformation, or is it they're
stuck with his material? Well, he's been saying for 11 years it's happening tomorrow. Watch my shit.
Yeah, but I'm just wondering why certain people why aren't you having thousands of people come to you in this moment in the quarantine?
Good reason. They're not ready for high frequency.
Yeah, fair enough.
They still want to toil in the low density, low frequencies. They're not charting their own course, like the other caller I talked to. They're not ready to do inner work. They still want to be curiosity researchers and YouTube PhDs. They're not serious about themselves.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, and also because Wilcock, Ike, Jones, they have they've done the whole media aspect, journalistic. Maybe not the right word. But they've been building and they're doing all that, and so it's maybe in a lower vibration. It's an easy answer. I'm me speaky baddie. You know what? But you can see what I'm.
Julie puts it in the chat room. Andrew puts the I got full responsibility on the individual. That's right.
Yeah.
That's why that full responsibility is on you.
Yeah, and then Santo points out that the blue chickens is a good story. Instead of like, if you do the sit, meditate, do your ceremony, cleanse. Nah, blue chickens from outer space sounds better.
And they're going to save you tomorrow. Therefore, you have to do no work.
Yeah.
That's the implied message. Unfortunately, David, Corey, and a lot of the other ones forget the implied message is still your responsibility.
Yeah, to be sovereign. Like I think even David Icke brings it up where, that's the whole thing about get off your knees, don't give consent, find your sovereign spiritual sovereignty. But the other stuff comes across as, well, not David Icke. He doesn't really put forward that we'll be saved. I still like the hope. We are the ones that we've been waiting for. But then you have people put forward that they may not say this, ETs are going to save us. Well, they're not. They're waiting for us to save us, and then they can interact with us.
Mm-hmm. So Tristan wrote here, Andrew, what do the blue chickens tell you? Buck, 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 buck. That's all they say.
What we need is an intergalactic Colonel Sanders.
Yes,
just putting
we need a deep fried blue chicken.
Yeah, exactly.
Alan say basically personal responsibility versus smoking the hopium.
Yeah, basically that's what it. Yeah, and they put forward hopium by showing fear porn, and that's one of the way I describe my roundtable sometimes. Yeah, let's have a hit of hopium and watch some fear porn so we can get balance. But that's a roundtable.
That's daily TV.
Yeah.
That's watching 15 minutes of the news followed up by a 30-minute feel-good sitcom.
Yeah, well, yeah, the news is like war, famine, AIDS, sport, and weather, and here's a cat up a tree. See you next week. I'm like, what? Oh.
Don and Andrew said, who watches TV? 77% of the world. That
Many-
last 23% are semi-awakened. 3% of that 23% are awakened. And of that 3%, maybe 0.5% are awakened beings. The rest are part-time awakened.
Now, to spin the positive angle of that, what percentage of people? Because wasn't the American Revolution, that was suddenly what, 5% of the population fighting back? It's a small number of people. A small percentage of people can actually do a lot of things, can't they?
Yep.
Are you able to give a number, or shall we discover it later?
11,
11
42, 99, 17. Does it really matter?
Well, I'm trying to help, Andrew. Jeez. Like, there's only
this
3%.
At this point, it doesn't matter percentage-wise because the volume of people that are listening to this message is minuscule.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. And unfortunately, that's where we're at with a lot of these subject matters. The amount of people that are actually paying attention and getting it.
Ooh,
Is the world going to awaken? Yes. Who's going to awaken first in a non-hierarchical, non-competition process? That's the real challenge.
Well, that sort of leads into sort of my question,
which inherently says you can't break it down into percentages.
Yeah, all right, I get that. Thank you. Light work is the what's the label can we use? Our need label here stuck in a bubble in a certain aspect because we're the echo chamber and all that type of thing. Because I'm tired of like, the sheeple. They keep blaming the asleep, and I'm like, that's helping.
You can't blame the asleep for the awakening. It's an oxy-fucking-moron.
Yeah, I know. It's like, we need to save the planet. We need to fight. Oh, but the sheeple is like, you just insulted everybody. You want to wake up by insulting them. Do you work for Lucasfilm? What type of business model is attacking your customers going to do?
Exactly. You can't attack the sheeple. You can't even call them sheeple. You are still in a form of creating a judgmental conclusion.
Thank you, Julie. Yeah, the blame game. This falls straight back to what you've been saying, I guess, from the start. The planet is blame, shame, and guilt. And by blame, those three is basically cosmic faulty towers. I like that.
No muggle shaming. Great. Travers.
Yeah, leave the muggles alone.
Leave the muggles alone.
But I like to.
It's not competitive awakening.
Now on Galactic Historian, competitive awakening. I woke up quicker than you. Go get stuffed. And then having a go at people that wear masks. Also, why call them it a face mask? Because when was your last knee mask? A mask is on your face. Where else do you put it? It's like having a go. Oh, you believe the virus is real, and you've been conned, and it's all pandemic. And the flip side is when they find out it's been manipulated, they go to like, oh, we're fine, and they'll break stuff. There is a virus. People are taking advantage of it, and if people choose to have a mask so they don't get sick for anything, allow them to.
Right. Michael Jackson was wearing a mask in the 80s.
Yeah. A lot of Asian people wear them as well because it's like I even pointed out like people aren't dying, blah blah blah. Yeah, but even I took this from you, Andrew. You still don't want 70% of civilization sick,
right? There
may be a knock-on effect.
Just a wee bit one.
Dead, just putting it out there. And it's from a strange thing. Like a lot of people washing their hands and covering their mouth to cough and wearing gloves and masks, which begs the question: what the hell were you doing beforehand? Like basic hygiene of don't cough into the universe and spread all your saliva and germs across a room like you're spawning. But no.
Oh, Monty, we have tickled the universal soul.
Yeah, I noticed the chat's going gangbusters, so I can't wait to look at the YouTube and the Facebook one as well.
All right, guys, we got to end the show. I want to remind everyone, Galactic History 2.0 is out. You can go to andrewbartzis.com/shop or click on the shop button. Over 40 hours of content. People have been leaving messages left and right. Thank you for the pricing, the value, and there's some amazing, amazing material out there. Stuff for you to sit back, learn, and dive into. You could turn your Netflix off for a little while and truly get some self-help inner work stuff going. And everyone's in the chat rooms just saying how amazing that it is. We're going to be coming out with another version, which is the coronavirus follow-up and some more information on Galactic History 3.0 that will be available later this year. We want everyone to dive deep into the material, and then we are going to be talking about it again and again and again. All right, Monty, you want to give people a way to get a hold of you?
On YouTube, I am Wafer Thin Entertainment. Giggle. On Twitter, if you want to waddle into that cesspool, at Real Monty Dean. On Instagram, if you want to see my see the memes I share, it's monty.dean. On Facebook, I'm just Monty Dean. And I used to be seen on public transport, but that's kind of ended now.
All right, everyone, thanks a lot, and we will see you next coming Tuesday. All right, Robert, take us away.
Each different bubble of reality is true.
A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma. Nudge, it's the whole.
Mysterious counter psychic intelligence. Why is DNA? We do have